Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel for your Chelsea versus Brighton Premier League match preview. Before we get into anything, taking a look at both the form of Chelsea and the form of Brighton and building my starting 11. If you are not yet subscribed to GBFC, I'd love to ask you to do so. Turn on the bell notification so that you don't miss a video, particularly the 6 Things We Learn match review series that goes out after every Chelsea game. Tonight's kickoff is later in the UK, which means it's even later for me in Bali, but I will try and get 6 Things We Learn out as soon as I can post-match after the Brighton game tonight. Chelsea, when we think about the way that December has been perceived, we've kind of looked at it and said, well, it's all been doom and gloom. It's all been bad, but things are starting to look up a little bit in the sense of players coming back from injury, players returning from COVID. Liverpool were beaten last night by Leicester, which is a massive result for us. Puts us level with Liverpool after 19 games of the season. Thomas Tuchel, there were people scrutinising Tuchel, people questioning things a lot, myself included. I had a mini optimistic meltdown that turned into pessimism quite quickly when Chelsea were drawing those matches that we were drawing earlier in December, away at Wolves and at home to Everton particularly. We got that win late on against Leeds. We beat Brentford in the Cup. And then, on Boxing Day, we put in a wonderful second-half performance against Aston Villa to get a massive 3 points in the Premier League. We look at this Brighton fixture today. Brighton have only won 1 of their last 5 matches. Yes, that was just 2 days ago, or 3 days ago, however long it was, against Brentford. It was a comfortable 2-0 win. They've had a couple of decent recent draws against the Southampton side that have become difficult to beat away at West Ham, just off the back of West Ham managing a result against us. So Brighton are a very difficult side to break down. They're the team that plays very good football under Graham Potter. However, I would say the form is on Chelsea's side for this fixture. We're at Stamford Bridge. We've got multiple players back from injury, returning from COVID too. And I think Thomas Tuchel today will have a starting 11 option that will be one of the strongest that we've had available now for quite some time. If we bring it back to that game that wasn't all that long ago, away at Aston Villa, Romelu Lukaku's impact in that second half was absolutely massive. And I think the fact he only played 45 minutes is actually a positive to get him closer to the kind of match fitness that we would expect him and need him to be at before starting a game today against Brighton. I thought the goal he scored was magnificent. Hudson-Odoi linking up with Romelu Lukaku is something that I think we'll see a lot more of in the coming weeks. Mason Mount didn't have the best game compared to how we know he can play. It wasn't Reece James's best game compared to the way that we know he could play. But today, it's a totally different fixture. We're looking to get started again, get 3 points underway. That was kind of a Michael Owen-esque GBFC comment there. But without any further ado, we are going to build my Chelsea lineup today that I think is going to get 3 points again at home to Brighton in the Premier League. We begin with Edouard Mendy. What an incredible year it has been for Edouard Mendy. Champions League winner. His first season, last season at Chelsea, magnificent. Apart from a tricky little run of form at the end of November, beginning of December from Mendy, it's been an absolutely phenomenal year. And this is the final time that Mendy will play for Chelsea before he goes off to Senegal for the African Cup of Nations. I think he can play the game against Liverpool, but to round off an incredible year, Mendy, of course, keeps his place in goal today, and I'm hoping that we can keep a clean sheet. We move into the back three. Trevor Chalobah is the right centre-back that we start with today. Trevor, again, what an incredible start to the season from Trevor Chalobah. He's one of those players now where when he's in the starting 11, at the beginning of the season, I was thinking oh, Tuchel's being bold here. Tuchel keeps on playing Trevor Chalobah. Is he going to be consistent enough? Is he going to be able to continue to perform at the high levels that we saw from him early on? The answer, virtually every single time, is yes. Trevor Chalobah has become such an important figure in this Chelsea team. The confidence he has on the ball, going forward as well. He's an aerial threat from set pieces too. He just looks so calm and so collected in this Chelsea defence. We move into the rest of the back three, and I've rested Thiago Silva. There's so many games coming up, and I don't think he's going to be ready for this one. The injury that when he came off in the game on Boxing Day against Aston Villa, it was precautionary, but I don't think he's going to be put back in today. Christensen is back, his lower back injury is done, and he is alongside Tony Rüdiger. it is looking at the moment as though there are still issues with Aspi, still issues with Christensen, still issues with Rüdiger. And from the beginning of January, all of these players are able to start communicating, discussing potential new contracts with other teams. However, the good thing about each and every one of these players is I don't think we can question their loyalty towards Chelsea until those contracts run out. I don't think they're the kind of players who could make an agreement with a Barcelona, a PSG, a Real Madrid, and then just absolutely down tools in a Chelsea shirt after everything that all of these three have been through individually. I think we've got absolutely no concerns. But we move into the midfield four. It is now known as the midfield four, quite frankly, simply because Reece James, Marcus Alonso, who will be the wingers, Ben Chilwell. As we knew in yesterday's video, Chilwell is going to be out for the season. It's a bit of a disaster, this one, really. It's probably the worst news for Chilwell personally, but also for Chelsea too, because he has become such a fundamental part of this Chelsea team, and the success that we had before all of these injuries took their toll was heavily down to the wing play of both Reece James and Ben Chilwell, or the wing-back play, should we say. But the midfield today, I'm going with Reece James, Jorginho, Mateo Kovacic, and Marcus Alonso. Was delighted to see Kovacic back in that second half against Villa, and I thought he did very well. I think Kovacic looked as though he brought an energy back into the Chelsea midfield. We know how good N'Golo Kante has been. However, injuries again. What can we do to keep this guy fit? We're going to have to wrap him in cotton wool. I think if there was any gift I wanted for Christmas, it would have been someone to just come and take N'Golo Kante, give him a bloody massive hug, because I think the geezer deserves it, wrap him in some cotton wool so he can never get injured. However, Jorginho is in wonderful goal-scoring form. Chelsea keep on getting penalties, and he keeps on scoring them, and it's winning us points. So, Jorginho alongside Kovacic, and we move into a front three, and we're going to begin on the right-hand side with Mason Mount. Yes, like I said earlier, not the best game that he had in the game away at Aston Villa. However, Mason Mount has been such a key player for Chelsea. Since he came into the side, all of this season, we have seen the creativity of Mason Mount, the work rate that he puts in, and I think between him, Romelu Lukaku through the middle, and the obvious link-up we've seen with Callum Hudson-Odoi on that left-hand side, I think this front three right now for Chelsea is the most potent, it's the most poignant, and I think today, against Brighton and Hove Albion at Stamford Bridge, that front three should be enough to get Chelsea the job done, to win the game. We've still got threats all over the pitch from different players. As much as we might not rate Alonso as highly as we rate Ben Chilwell, he can still score a goal. Reece James, absolute incredible crosser of the ball, can also score a goal. There is goals within this Chelsea team everywhere. Yes, we've scored a lot from penalties recently, but it's been down to brilliant forward play. And not even just from the forwards, the likes of Rüdiger in the Leeds game winning penalties in the last minute. Chelsea can attack from all over the field. And I think this lineup today, we will see that. And I think Chelsea will get the job done. And I'm going to go with Chelsea 2, Brighton 0. A massive win. It will lift us above Liverpool into second, going into that massive game at the beginning of January. Romelu Lukaku, I've got a feeling he's going to explode onto the scene now. I think that second half against Villa was so good, and I expect him to replicate it once again. I think Lukaku's going to get both goals for Chelsea tonight, an assist for Mason Mount, and an assist for Callum Hudson-Odoi. Huge game this for Chelsea. We've got to keep the wins up. We've got to try and remain in this title race for as long as we can, depending on how well Manchester City do and when or if they drop any points. Liverpool did it yesterday. We've got to believe. We've got to keep the optimism back now. We're in better form. We've won our last 2 games in all competitions, and we're unbeaten in the last 5 too. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy this preview, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you are new, and I'll catch you guys later. Come on, you Blues.